Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Chats with Audrey. I hope you're safe and well. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by ApiJect's Executive Chairman, Jay Walker, who is going to be talking to me about ApiJect's recent licensing agreement that they signed with Fareva. So first of all, Jay, it's lovely to see you. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Well, it's great to see the sun shining where you are today, Jay. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from the New York City area in the United States.
Well, I'm glad I've got a Yankees jersey behind me then just for you. So here we go. Well, look, before we start talking about the agreement that you signed, which I think was in December, actually, would you mind giving viewers a quick overview of ApiJect for those not familiar with the business?
So ApiJect is a new injection technology system that allows for single-dose prefilled syringes, but instead of putting them in glass, they're done in high-speed plastic using a BlowFillSeal system with an attachable needle hub that allows you to turn a BFS vial into a prefilled syringe. It's economical, it's very high speed, and therefore it's ideal in surge environments, and it has a supply chain that's very condensed and very fast.
Brilliant. So let's talk about the agreement that you signed with Fareva, if I get my teeth in right. So, yeah, so let's talk about that agreement. So can you just go over a bit more in terms of what the actual agreement is?
So Fareva is one of the world's largest BFS fill and finish companies based in France, but with operations globally. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. And Fareva, with the support of the French government, has agreed to license our technology and install 3 BFS lines, which together can handle up to about 500 million pre-filled single doses a year. So that's enough, obviously, for the entire French population, as well as significant export volumes. And Fareva is now, in this case, joining with the US government, which built the same capacity in the United States. So France is now the second country to embrace the BlowFillSeal technology, not just for COVID, but for all future uses as well as standard commercial work. So this is not just a COVID story.
Well, that's brilliant. Now, obviously, as you mentioned, the production lines located in France will sort of serve the French population, which I think is about 65 million, and wider European markets. But what are the advantages in onshoring this capacity?
Well, as we've seen in the pandemic, we have significant problems in the supply chain where countries prevent, because of vaccine nationalism, the export of critical components, materials, supplies, or even doses. So every country in the world of any size or wealth wants to have a supply chain within their country. So it's not simply onshoring, it's also condensing the supply chain. This, of course, is, not to say anything bad about glass or prefilled syringes, but it currently takes 80 weeks or more to get glass vials, whereas you can get pharmaceutical grade resin anytime you want by the truckload, which means you can make the BFS vial and fill it simultaneously, all in one operation. This gives countries the real ability to be confident that they have both the resilience and the scale they need without worrying about export controls, import controls, and all of the problems that occur when a global pandemic shows up.
Yeah, well, that's really interesting. Obviously, as you say, speed to market is very important, as is sort of managing the supply chain as it stands at the moment. Now, BFS has been around for decades, but this is the first time that's been used for pre-filled injectors. So what new technologies or processes have ApiJect developed to make this possible? And how do you see these innovations contributing to accelerating fill finishes of vaccines?
So ApiJect has done 2 things that make a giant difference in well-established BFS technology. BFS, as you've mentioned, this has been around for 50 years or so, and if you've ever used an eyedropper, you've used one of the billions and billions of doses of BFS that are made every year. But eye drops and respiratory products are not heat sensitive, whereas most vaccines and biologics are. Since BFS uses molten plastic, there is heat involved. And what we have done, working not only with our own R&D teams, but also working with the Romeleg folks who manufacture the rotary BFS equipment, is we have invented a temperature management system from beginning to end, which makes it possible to use BFS for sensitive biologics. Now,
Right.
obviously, each biologic is different, so each one has to be adjusted, and you've got to go through it, no different than you do for glass filling. But BFS in the past has not been used for temperature sensitive, and now it can be. The second big technology change is the addition of these needle hubs. In the past, nobody had ever figured out how to attach a needle both safely, reliably, and without leakage to a soft BFS container that has to be pressed by the customer or by the nurse or administrator. So you have to manage a needle attachment right onto a BFS container, and it has to work at enormously high reliability over and over again. This is the second technology which the United States government helped to fund the R&D of, that allowed us to solve the problem of how you can put a needle hub, which has a needle of almost any gauge and a needle of almost any length. Could be, subcutaneous, it could be for an obese patient, etc. You need to be able to attach a needle as simply as you might attach a lure needle to a lure syringe. Those two technology advancements have opened up the possibility of BFS being used not only for high-speed containers, but also for use as high-speed syringes, pre-filled.
Right. Okay. So we're looking at the Fareva agreement, if I can get it right. So what do you see as the longer-term significance of your partnership with Fareva?
Well, I think Fareva demonstrates that any contract manufacturer or contract development manufacturing organization can now embrace the option of BFS in addition to their glass fill finish. The beauty of that is the technology we have created and licensed to Fareva is licensed for almost anyone. And countries all around the world are going to need to scale up their onshore fill finish, and they're going to need to improve the resilience of their supply chain. You do it once and people say, well, maybe you custom did it in South Carolina. You do it twice and suddenly people are saying, wait a second, this is a real solution. And you do it 3 times and everybody's going to say, okay, why don't we have this capacity in our country? Because we may not have a population as large as France or the United States, but we need to be resilient and ready, because if the next pandemic is much higher lethality, we won't have the luxury of months or a year or more to develop things. We're going to have to move way faster if we're faced with something at the Omicron speed and scale, but with the lethality of an Ebola or a smallpox or something horrible like that.
Right. Okay. So as you just mentioned, though, that now you've done it twice, it's become a bit more familiar, and people are more likely to look at it as a realistic option. So can we see similar licensing programs in other countries? And is licensing the future for ApiJect?
Yes and yes. You can expect that we will be announcing similar licensing programs in other CMOs around the world, and it is the business model of ApiJect. Originally, we had felt that perhaps building our own essentially greenfield facilities was the way to go. But with the Delta variant dramatically accelerating the COVID pandemic, and then obviously followed by Omicron, it's clear we're going to need to do this in facilities that are already built and regulated around the world. The beauty of BFS equipment is the footprint is small. These are not giant machines with enormous footprints, which means that many facilities around the world that are already handling glass fill finish can add the option of high volume surge capacity BFS and grow their business and grow their product lines.
Right. So does that mean that it's quite straightforward or relatively straightforward to add these to the production lines without having to replace major equipment then by putting these in?
That is correct. You don't have to replace major equipment. The footprints arrive in 1 or 2 containers. They are designed for compactness and modularity. And the beauty of that is, in a relatively small footprint, certainly compared to a typical fill finish environment, a company can add this capacity, whether it's a pharma company themselves, like a generic or a branded seller, or if it's a CMO. Both can use this technology. It's been around for a long time, so you really can see its reliability.
And in terms of speed of installation, is it relatively quick then in terms of installing these sort of production lines as well?
Yes, it really is. I mean, obviously, if you're building BSL-2 facilities, you'll need to be able to handle live viruses. You've got HVAC and other related issues, but they don't use a great deal of power. They use regular, water for injection here. They do not require clean rooms because the sterile space in a BFS process is about the size of a bread box, and it's inside the machine, which is why the FDA classifies BlowFillSeal as an advanced aseptic process, which is better than a sterile process exposed to room air. So you don't need big clean rooms. You don't need complex systems. You don't need special power or water. It really is a fabulous option for companies that are looking to expand fill finish.
Well, Jay, thank you very much for that. Thank you for giving me that quick overview and for answering those questions. Well, I wish you lots of success with the agreement with Fareva, and I hope you get lots more agreements down the road as well. So there you go, viewers. If you'd like to know more about the licensing agreement, then obviously check out the website at ApiJect's, but also I will put the link to the original press release on the post so you can see that as well. And Jay, what is the ApiJect website if people want to get more information?
It's ApiJect.com. Doesn't get easier than that.
All right. Well, there you go. It's very easy for you to get more information. And you can also message Jay on LinkedIn as well. So, Jay, all this stuff and says, thank you very much for giving me that overview of the agreement. Good luck with the rest of 2022. I hope you have a fantastic 2022 as well. Thank you very much.
Stay safe.
And thank you, viewers, for watching. As I said, check out the ApiJect website. There's lots of great information. You can learn more about BFS as well on there as well. And also you can see the licensing agreement details on there. And until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.